Revealed, I gave my parents $2,800 for bills only to discover their unexpected cruise without me. Jessica stared at the empty coffee cup strewn across her tiny kitchen table, a knot tightening in her stomach. She had poured every ounce of her being into this family, and now, her grueling double shifts at the diner felt even heavier. As a waitress, she moved like clockwork, taking orders and pouring coffee with a forced smile, all while deep down she felt the weight of the world pressing down on her chest. Her father, a proud veteran, had lost his way after service, spiraling into an unshakable sadness that even Jessica's warmth couldn't lift. It was with fierce determination that she set aside her dreams of college to support him and her mother, whose gentle hands had grown calloused whilst working double shifts in a local grocery store. When Jessica learned they were falling behind on their bills, the choice was easy. She emptied her savings, scraped together every last $2,800 that she had saved for that long-desired college course. She thought giving it to her parents would lift their burdens, ignite smiles, and fill their home with a renewed spirit, but when she found the postcard stamped from the Caribbean, the world shifted beneath her feet. Anger bubbled to the surface as betrayal washed over her. Her parents, those she had sacrificed everything for, were cruising the azure waters of paradise while she was left drowning in suffocating disappointment. Tears pricked at her eyes as she struggled to process how they could do this to her, the daughter who had fought to keep them afloat. Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue. Confronting her parents felt like stepping into a storm. Her heart raced, each word slashing through the quiet air of their cluttered living room. It's not about the money, Jessica shouted, her voice cracking. It's about loyalty. Her father's face paled, a mix of shame and pride flooding his features. We wanted to create memories even if just for a moment, he muttered, his voice weak, revealing the weight he felt from his past. Her mother chimed in, a trembling whisper, full of vulnerability. They had thought Jessica would understand. They wanted to feel alive, even if just fleetingly. But isn't sacrifice what family meant? With each word exchanged, they peeled back layers of hidden emotions, yet pain echoed off the walls like a haunting melody. As the emotions crescendoed, Jessica's anger began to blend with the understanding of her parents' struggle stories left unspoken, pain buried deep. As tears cascaded down their faces, Jessica felt the hollowness in her heart start filling with a flicker of hope. Could it be possible that amidst her own dreams deferred, their hearts were woven together in a tapestry of unconditional love? Just as she felt the flicker grow, Jessica realized the looming question in the air: could she find it within herself to reconcile the wreckage of their emotions, or would the choppy waters of misunderstanding tear them apart forever? Jessica's mind raced as she stood in the cramped living room, her parents' eyes fixed on her, filled with both regret and confusion. The usual chaos of the house felt eerily quiet, a stark contrast to the storm of emotions swirling in her heart. She could feel the weight of their disappointment seeping through the walls, clinging to her like a heavy fog. Memories? She finally managed, her voice barely above a whisper. While I'm here working every hour I can just to keep us afloat. I thought family meant putting each other first. The tears threatened to spill again, but she fought them back. She wasn't going to let her parents see how deeply they'd hurt her. We wanted to show you that life is more than just working and paying bills. Her mother's voice trembled, desperation painted on her face. We just wanted a moment to feel normal, to escape this life we've gotten trapped in. Normal? Jessica's disbelief found its way out. You think abandoning your daughter while she scrapes to pay those bills is normal? I sacrificed my dreams for you. Even just a text to check on me would have shown you cared, but instead. Her father stepped forward, hollow-eyed, searching for the right words. Jessie, we know we messed up. We thought maybe just a few days would help us remember who we are, not just your parents but people too. Sometimes I feel like I've lost myself after everything I've been through. Jessica felt a surprising twist of empathy. Her father had always been the strongest figure to lean on, yet the lingering pain he carried was now unearthing a version of him she didn't recognize. It pricked at her heart as she settled into an uneasy understanding, but she grappled with her anger's hold. It was the flicker of hope she had felt moments ago that battled against the choice to forgive. Silence filled the room as they all processed what had been said. Her mother wiped tears from her cheeks, trying to regain control. "We didn't want to hurt you, sweetheart. We thought you would be understanding, but we see now that we were selfish." Jessica's hands trembled. She felt the urge to hug them both, to make everything all right again. Yet, something held her back. How could she simply forget the betrayal? The wound was fresh, still raw, and bleeding. Selfish? You don't even understand the sacrifice you asked of me. You turned your backs on my dreams. Her voice broke, and she slumped onto the old couch. The memories of college brochures and dreams of a brighter future seemed far away now, a different life she could only glance at. The world was heavy with disappointment, and even hope felt like a fleeting concept. "Jess, we'll make it up to you. We swear." Her father's desperate tone cut through the tension. "We're so sorry. We want to fix this." Jessica looked up, meeting their eyes. There was sincerity there, a glimmer that challenged her anger. But would it be enough to mend the cracks in their family? What if it isn't enough? She challenged, her heart racing again, their faces twisted with concern, and she realized that in the whirlwind of betrayal, they were also feeling the weight of choices made. Could they rebuild from the wreckage? Were they willing to fight for her dreams as she had fought for theirs? Jessica hugged her knees to her chest, looking out the window where the sun began to set. The vibrant colors of the sky mirrored her conflicting emotions. She wanted to believe they could find a way through this. But deep down, uncertainty loomed. Could they truly start anew, or was this simply another layer of broken trust? As her mind raced through possibilities, one thought repeated itself in her heart. What will be the first step to healing? It bounced around in her head, a question that needed an answer. But even if there was an answer, would they be ready for the challenges that lay ahead? Jessica felt the weight of the silence pressing down on them all. She could hear the muffled sounds of the world outside, laughter from children playing, the chirping of birds settling in for the night, and the distant hum of a car engine, a reminder of life moving on outside this room. Inside, it was a different story. The air was thick with unresolved feelings, and she didn't know how to cut through it. "How do we even start?" she finally asked, her voice trembling again but steady. "How do we fix this?" Her parents exchanged glances, and in that moment, she could see their uncertainty mirrored back at her. They were willing to try, she felt it, but where did one begin after such betrayal? "I suppose it starts with honesty," her mother said softly, her eyes glistening with new tears. "We need to be open about our feelings, yours and ours. You deserve that." Jessica nodded, though doubt gnawed at her. "And what if yours are too painful? You've hidden them from me for so long." Her father took a deep breath, visibly gathering his courage. "Let me share mine first," he said, his voice low but determined. "This last year has crushed me. Losing my job was hard, and I felt like I failed you and your mom. I didn't want to bring that home, so I buried it. But escaping for a few days, it just felt like freedom even if it was wrong." His words washed over her like a wave, stirring something deep within. They'd all been stuck in an unending cycle of fear of failure, fear of the future. She hadn't realized how suffocating it must have felt for her father. "Dad, I just wanted to talk. I wanted you to lean on me, too," she admitted, her eyes searching his. "We could faced it together, as a family." Pain flickered in his gaze, and Jessica felt a pang of something akin to guilt. Had she unknowingly contributed to the walls that had gone up between them? "I should known that." "I didn't want you to worry," he replied, voice thick with emotion. "And I didn't want to feel alone," she added, her heart aching. Mourning the moments they lost, they shared their truths piece by piece. Secrets spilled out slowly, like sand from an hourglass ticking away the time they could have spent together. Jessica listened as her mother talked about their financial struggle, feeling the weight of hidden burdens pressing down. There were nights I couldn't sleep, her mother confessed, bravely holding her daughter's gaze. I was terrified about the bills piling up and how I could shield you from it. As the conversation unfolded, the heavy fog of betrayal lifted just a little. With every revelation, pieces of their hearts began to emerge from the shadows. It was painful but necessary. They moved through layers of hurt and regret. I think we can find a rhythm again, but we need to be honest with each other going forward, she said, choosing her words carefully. If we're going to rebuild trust, we need to open up about everything, the scary stuff too. Her parents nodded, a shared understanding igniting the dim room. Absolutely, her mother replied, her voice stronger now. This is our beginning. Jessica felt a flicker of hope seeping back in like sunlight breaking through clouds. But even with their honesty, a gnawing thought lingered in her mind. What if their new honesty came with consequences she wasn't ready to face? Just as the sun dipped below the horizon, casting warmth through the window, she knew their journey was only beginning. But with their faces painted in hope, uncertainty still clouded her heart. Walking this road would bring challenges. Would they be able to handle what lay ahead? With every questioning glance exchanged, tension still stretched between them. Are we truly ready to uncover everything? She whispered, as the stars began to twinkle outside, the night silently holding its breath. Jessica stared out the window, feeling the pull of the stars twinkling above her. Each one seemed to echo her uncertainty, their distant light promising hope but also reminding her of all the things left unsaid. The conversation had started a shift, yes, but the next step loomed like a shadow just out of reach. Okay, her dad suddenly said, his tone slightly firmer. We've all laid some cards on the table. Let us continue. Jessica, what about you? How are you feeling about us? The question hung in the air, demanding her attention like a spotlight. She had to choose her words carefully. She didn't want to hurt them or, worse, push them away again. I just feel betrayed, she finally admitted, her voice cracking a bit. When I found out about these financial struggles you were hiding, I felt like I didn't really know you at all. And it feels like, in a way, you chose to go through this alone. Her mother shifted in her seat, a flinch of guilt rippling across her features. We were trying to protect you, she whispered. You were still in school, focused on your life, your friends. We didn't want to burden you with our problems. But in trying to protect me, you isolated me, Jessica said, feeling a surge of frustration. I wanted to help. I could have worked more hours, or Jessica, listen, her father interrupted gently, reaching for her hand. We felt ashamed. We thought it would just be temporary. People lose jobs, it happens. It felt easier to handle alone. But now, I see how wrong that was. Jessica pulled her hand back, struggling to contain the mix of hurt and the burning urge to help. But it wasn't temporary for you, it became a crisis. And we could have helped each other. I know I'm only 17, but I'm still your daughter. I'm not a child. The weight of her statement hung thick in the air, and silence followed. Each of them felt it, the clash of need and fear, love and resentment. Then her mother took a deep breath, wiping at fresh tears. You're right. You're not a child. And we underestimated your strength. Jessica's heart fluttered. The recognition felt good, but still the voice of doubt whispered in her mind. So, what now? She ventured slowly. How do we move forward? You've brought me into this honesty, but it feels like Pandora's box. What else lies inside? Her father swallowed hard. There's more, Jess. Sometimes facing the truth brings unexpected consequences. I was hoping our trip, our getaway, would help me reset. Wait. Trip? You went on a trip? Jessica interrupted sharply, her pulse quickening. Her parents exchanged glances, and the tension returned, thicker this time. It was supposed to be a family cruise, a chance to bond. But I went alone, her father stammered, his sincerity catching in his throat. I thought it'd be easier to sort through my head without feeling the weight of everything. But that wasn't fair to you or your mother. Jessica felt the ground beneath her shake. A family cruise? You chose to go without me? It was a decision made out of desperation. I thought we needed space to regroup, not thinking how it would feel for you, her mother replied, her voice trembling with regret. Jessica's heart raced, the feeling of betrayal returning sharply. They sought escape and left her behind. You didn't think I would want to be with you? I don't know, work through things together? Her mother opened her mouth to speak but found no words. The silence grew heavy once more, like a storm cloud hanging over their heads. Jessica felt lost between sadness and anger, spinning at the thought of how deep the wounds went. Can we even fix this? She asked, her breath hitching. Or am I just going to end up feeling even more lonely? As the stars shimmered in the darkening sky above, illuminating their faces through the window, she realized they stood at a crossroads. Would they rise together, or would they spiral further apart? It was a heavy question to process, and as they sat engulfed in their thoughts, the atmosphere shifted. Jessica realized she wasn't just ready for a conversation, she was ready for the truth. But where would that lead them? Would they end up stronger, or further fractured? The tension crackled like electricity, and the answers were still cloaked in uncertainty. As she glanced at her parents, a flicker of determination ignited within her. They were all hurting, but maybe just maybe they could learn to navigate the wreckage together. Let us talk more, Jessica said firmly. But I need to know everything. No more hiding. A glint of resolve crossed her parents' faces, but she could feel the world beyond the window fading away. Were they prepared for what might emerge when they bore it all? Jessica could feel her heart thundering in her chest, the weight of her words hanging between them like a heavy shroud. I need to know the truth, she repeated, the fierce determination in her voice surprising even herself. Her parents exchanged another look, this one full of unspoken words and shared regrets. All right, her father said, his voice breaking slightly. It's time we let you in on everything. She leaned forward, almost breathless, ready to catch every revelation. What do I not know? Just tell me everything. Her mother sighed deeply, her brow furrowed. It's the financial problems that led to the trip. We weren't just struggling with money, your dad was overwhelmed at work, taking stress out on himself. I thought maybe escaping would help him clear his head. I see now how selfish it all was. Jessica's mind raced, trying to piece together the chaos. You thought running away would fix things? Her father rubbed his temples, clearly exhausted. I never wanted to drag you into our fights. They felt too messy. He paused, collecting his thoughts. I was trying to make sense of losing my job, and the pressure to provide became unbearable. I didn't know how to cope. But that doesn't excuse my choices. The admission struck her. She'd been so focused on their betrayal that she hadn't considered the weight on their shoulders. But you might be lost your way completely. How do we even begin to rebuild trust? We have to open every door we shut, her mother said gently. Even the hardest parts there's still so much to face. Jessica felt her stomach drop, but she pushed through the anxiety. The money $2,800 that was for bills. Her father flinched, guilt flashing through his eyes. I should have explained why we needed it. I took it without telling you because I was desperate. I was scared. Scared of what? Letting me in? I could be worked with you. Jessica exclaimed, anger bubbling over. I gave you that money. I thought I was helping. Her mother reached for her, but Jessica pulled back. No. How can I reconcile this? I'm not a kid anymore. Then stop treating us like we're perfect, her father said, an edge creeping into his voice, though it was softened by exhaustion. We're learning, too. We made mistakes. We're not sure how to fix them yet. Jessica could almost feel the crackle of emotions in the room, a dense fog of confusion and hurt, layered with a fragile hope. But I thought I would always be safe. That we'd always be our own team. Her mother's expression softened, gratitude shining in her eyes, but sadness lingered. You are safe. It's just the team we built needs rebuilding. For a moment, the world felt achingly still, the truth they dared not speak hanging on their breaths. Each of them stood on the verge of something deeper, something more raw. Jessica felt how their hearts were laid bare there, exposed yet wanting forgiveness. As they sat, each lost in their thoughts, Jessica felt a new craving. She wanted the entire story, even if it scared her. It was time for them to confront not just what had happened, but what they had all become in the process. "Okay," she finally said, her voice softer now but full of purpose. "Let us dig deeper. I want to know what you felt, what I might not see." Her father nodded, their eyes intense yet frightened. "We can share, Jess. All of it if you're prepared." "I am," she stated, feeling the boldness surge within her. "I've been keeping it all inside for too long. I need this. We need this." But just as her parents began to speak, the doorbell rang, the sound slicing through the fragile moment like ice cracking. Jessica froze, sensing that perhaps their conversation was about to take another unexpected turn. Who could that be? Her mother wondered aloud, her eyebrows knitted together with concern. Jessica met her father's gaze. "Do we answer?" As the persistent ring echoed again, an uncomfortable anticipation filled the air. Something told her that the next chapter of their lives was about to unfold, and it held both promise and more unspoken truths. Would they face whatever came next together, or would it steer them further apart? The doorbell rang again, more insistent this time, and Jessica's heart raced. Each chime felt like a countdown, a reminder that whatever lay beyond could change everything. She took a deep breath, willing her feet to move, but doubts swirled in her mind. "Do you want me to get it?" her father asked, uncertainty painting his features. Jessica nodded, but her legs felt heavy as she approached the door. She glanced back at her parents, their expressions a mix of concern and curiosity. They were just as tense as she was, wondering what this unexpected visitor would bring to the conversation they just started. As she pulled the door open, a sense of dread washed over her. Standing there was a tall figure, outlined in the bright afternoon sun. It was her Uncle Mike, her mother's brother, with a look of urgency etched across his face that instantly put her on edge. "Jess, I'm glad I caught you," he said, rushing into the house, a pile of mail cradled in his arms. "I was just going through the stuff you guys left at the house. I found these." Unease settled deeper in Jessica's stomach as he handed over the envelopes. Some were overdue bills, weighty reminders of the struggle her parents faced, while others were notices that made her breathe a little faster. She glanced at her uncle, studying his expression. Couldn't he possibly know what they'd just uncovered inside? "Is everything okay?" she asked, forcing the words past the lump in her throat. "Not really," he replied, brow furrowed, a serious note creeping into his voice. "I thought I'd help tidy up the chaos after you guys left. But there's more to it than I anticipated." Her parents, still at the dining room table, exchanged wary glances. Jessica could feel the tension snapping like a taut wire. "What do you mean?" she pressed, combining her fear and curiosity. That he stepped further inside, dropping the envelopes onto the table as if they were bombs waiting to explode. "There's a lot stacked up. I think you need to see this." Jessica shuffled closer, her stomach flipping as her gaze settled on one envelope, prominently marked with urgent red lettering. "Is that a foreclosure notice?" she whispered. Her uncle nodded grimly. "I'm afraid so. Your parents haven't been able to keep up with the mortgage. They haven't told you they didn't want you to worry." Her heart dropped. The weight of Jessica's earlier resolve dissipated as the reality of their struggles crashed over her. She turned to her parents, searching their faces for answers, for the reasons they kept all of this from her. "Why didn't you tell me?" she asked, her voice shaking. "We could have found a way to help. I thought we were facing this together." Her father's face fell, regret flooding his features. "We thought we could manage it, Jess. We didn't want to drag you into the dark. We were trying to protect you." "Protect me?" Jessica said, her voice rising bit by bit. "By lying?" By keeping me in the dark until it all blows up. The air felt heavy, every breath a struggle as her uncle shifted uncomfortably. He cleared his throat, trying to catch her eye. I know this is tough, but you're not alone. That's why I'm here. To help you figure this out. Jessica couldn't help but feel torn. She wanted to scream, to shout about how it wasn't fair. But beneath the anger, a thread of hope flickered, the idea that maybe, just maybe, they could face this all together. Let us talk, she finally said, her voice steadier. All of us. Her parents nodded, tears welling, as if they could finally see a path through the chaos. Jessica sensed a shift, an opportunity to break old patterns, but just as they prepared to delve back into that conversation, another knock echoed through the house. This time, a chill ran down Jessica's spine. It felt different, foreboding in a way she couldn't yet articulate. Who or what awaited them behind that door? Who else could that be? Her father whispered, looking more worried than before. Jessica squared her shoulders, heart racing with dread and determination. Whatever is coming, we need to face it. Together. Jessica's heart thudded in her chest, loud and unyielding. That knock came again, more insistent, as if it demanded an answer, a resolution. She couldn't shake the feeling that something was about to shatter the fragile moment they had just begun to piece together. Her Uncle Mike exchanged worried glances with her parents. It was like everyone could feel the tension hanging in the air, a thick cloud of uncertainty. With an audible breath, Jessica stepped forward, her hand hovering over the doorknob. Let us see what this is about, she said, her voice steadier than she felt. It was time to confront whatever storm loomed on the other side. As she swung the door open, the sight of a middle-aged woman caught her off guard. Her auburn hair cascaded down her shoulders, framing a face that glowed with warmth yet carried a familiar hard edge. It was Ms. Edwards, their next-door neighbor. Jessica's pulse quickened. Why would she be here now? Hi, Jessica, Ms. Edwards said, a hesitant smile gracing her lips. I'm sorry to intrude, but I saw your uncle arrive. I thought I'd check in. There hasn't been a lot of movement around here lately, and, well, I brought you something. In her hands, she held a cardboard box, slightly worn but clearly packed tightly. The smell of something delicious wafted through the air, mixing with the remnants of Jessica's anxiety. I made too much lasagna, she continued. I thought it might help, during this tough time. Her words were kind, but Jessica could sense the weight behind them. She glanced back at her parents, who remained silent, their eyes betraying an unsteady mixture of gratitude and regret. Thank you, Ms. Edwards, Jessica finally said, her voice softening. That's really thoughtful of you. Handing over the box, Ms. Edwards lowered her voice, glancing back at her parents. I'm here if you ever need anything, don't hesitate to ask, okay? The comfort in her neighbor's offer sent a warmth through Jessica, one she desperately needed amid the storm of emotions swirling in her heart. But as quickly as the warmth crept in, a thought surged forward, like a sudden gust of wind. What if they weren't the only ones she needed to lean on? Actually, can I talk to you for a moment? Jessica asked, her voice wavering with uncertainty. Ms. Edwards raised an eyebrow, a hint of curiosity sparking her keen expression. Of course. Jessica stepped outside with her neighbor, glancing back at her parents who watched with concern. She took a deep breath, feeling the warmth of the sun on her skin. It was a comforting reminder that life continued, even when everything felt like it was unraveling. I just found out about our situation, Jessica said, her words spilling out. And I don't really know what to do. I thought we could face it as a family, but it seems like everything is falling apart. Ms. Edwards nodded, her eyes glimmering with support. It's okay to feel lost. It's a lot to take in. But the first step is acknowledging it. You're not alone. You have your family, and you have the community. We will help you. Jessica took in her words, feeling an unexpected comfort in their weight. Maybe hope wasn't a far-off dream after all. What if we could pull together to sort this out? Maybe we could see what resources are available. Absolutely, Ms. Edwards said, a bright smile breaking through the tension. There are services around here that could help. I can connect you with them. Relief drizzled over Jessica like the last light of day flickering through gray clouds. Thank you. But a new worry began to creep in. What if her parents weren't on board? Would they be willing to accept help outside their circle? Let us head back inside, Jessica said, determination flooding her spirit. We need to put our heads together. We might be able to turn this situation around. As she turned to re-enter her home, an unsettling sensation tugged at her. The weight of uncertainty hadn't lifted, it had merely transformed into a new challenge. What if the support relied on more than just external help? What secrets had her parents yet to unveil that might affect their journey forward? With a heart full of questions and a spirit ready for battle, Jessica braced herself for the next revelation, hoping it wouldn't be more than what she could handle. She stepped inside, ready to face her family, the lasagna box in hand. There was so much left to discover, and time was slipping away. What awaited them wasn't just about survival, it was about transformation. And Jessica was determined to uncover every layer, no matter how painful it might be. Jessica closed the door behind her, the heavy thud echoing in her ears, an ominous reminder of the reality awaiting her inside. She stood there for a moment, the cardboard box of lasagna feeling heavier in her hands as if it held all of her unsaid fears and the weight of her parents' secrets. Their expressions, a mixture of concern and something else, something unnameable, haunted her. Hey, what did Ms. Edwards want? Her mom asked, trying to inject a note of normalcy into the charged atmosphere. But Jessica could hear the tremor in her voice. Just checking in, she replied, forcing a smile. Brought us some lasagna. She gestured with the box, but her heart raced at the thought of bringing up the conversation they just had. Lasagna sounds great, her Uncle Mike intervened, shifting the focus. Nothing like homemade food to lift spirits, right? He chuckled, but it fell flat, swallowed by the weight of the moment. As they gathered around the kitchen table, the food became more than just comfort. It was a symbol of community, of friendship reaching out in darkness. But still, something gnawed at Jessica inside. What did Ms. Edwards really say? Her father pressed, uncertainty lacing his brow as he studied her closely. Jessica hesitated, caught between the desire to shield them and the pressing urge for honesty. She mentioned that we could look into community resources. That we shouldn't feel alone in this. Her voice dropped, heavy with implications. Her parents shared a glance that Jessica interpreted as a mix of relief and fear. That's a good idea, her mom finally said, voice tinged with hesitation. But Jessica bit her lip, steeling herself. We can't keep pretending everything is okay. We need to talk about what's really going on. Her father shifted uncomfortably. Jessica, now's not the time. No. It needs to be now. Her voice was louder than she intended. The room fell silent. It was as if she threw a rock into still water, creating ripples of unease. Jess, honey, her mom started, but Jessica cut her off. Don't. This isn't just about us playing nice anymore. Things are changing. What are you hiding? The quiet stretched between them like a taut string, ready to snap. Her parents exchanged glances again, and the air hung thick with unsaid words. Finally, her father let out a long sigh. We didn't want to worry you. But I guess it's time to talk. His voice was weary and edged with rawness, as if he were pulling back layers he had been guarding for too long. Her heart raced. Talk about what? Her uncle hung back, his gaze darting nervously between the three of them, unsure whether to intervene or not. The bills are piling up, her mom said, her voice shaking slightly. We thought we had it covered. We really did. But... She faltered, trying to find the right way to break the news. But... Jessica prompted, her heartbeat loud in her ears. But we booked this cruise. Her mom hesitated, looking down. It was meant to be a break for us all, a chance to reconnect, and we thought we could still manage things. Jessica's breath hitched. A cruise? Well, you didn't tell me we were struggling? Jess, it was meant to be a surprise, her dad said weakly, his defenses crumbling against her hurt. A surprise? She echoed, disbelief mixing with anger. You used family money for a vacation while I thought we were all on the same team? How could you think that was okay? Tears blurred her vision, not just of anger but disappointment, deep, aching disappointment. Did you think I wouldn't care? Or that I wouldn't want to help? Jessica, it was never just about you, her mother whispered, suddenly shattered under the weight of their shared burden. The silence laid raw wounds bare, and Jessica felt as if she were drifting in their tidal wave of emotions. She didn't want this, the unraveling of trust and security that her family had built together. In that moment, realization dawned on her. Their struggles were more profound than money. They were battling feelings, expectations, and burdens that no one had dared to voice. What are we going to do now? She finally managed. Her voice a quiet tremor. Her parents looked at each other, uncertainty fracturing the moment. And as the shadows flickered and danced around them, Jessica knew deep down that this was just the beginning, the first step towards uncovering the truth buried under layers of silence. What deeper secrets lay intertwined with their family's financial troubles? Would they be able to face them together, or would these revelations tear them apart? Jessica's heart raced, caught in a web of emotions. The room felt smaller, the weight of their secrets pressing down. A million thoughts raced through her mind. Did they really think she would just accept their deceit? Jessica, maybe we should just take a step back, her dad suggested, raking a hand through his hair, revealing his tension. Things are complicated right now. Complicated? She shot back, frustration bubbling. You think pretending everything is fine makes it better? You're my parents. You should trust me enough to share this. Her mother's face paled, but Jessica didn't care. She needed answers. Do you realize how much help I tried to give you? Jess, we appreciate it, her dad said, his voice softer, almost pleading. But we didn't want to burden you. By throwing away money on a cruise? Jessica glared at him, hurt piercing her. What was that supposed to do for us? We just wanted a chance to be a family again, to escape everything, her mom murmured, tears pooling in her eyes. That's all we wanted. The love within that statement clashed painfully with the truth it tried to hide. Jessica's heart softened for a moment, but it was quickly replaced by anger. She felt the urge to comfort her mom, yet the betrayal left her searching for clarity. Did it ever occur to you that maybe, just maybe, I wanted to be involved? Jessica's voice wavered. That I wanted us to tackle this problem together? Her uncle Mike, who had been too quiet, stepped forward. Listen, I know this is hard, but what's done is done. We're a family, and families face challenges together, he reminded them, looking between Jessica and her parents. Together, Jessica echoed, frustration lacing the word. But if you keep hiding things, how can we really be together? Silence settled in again, thick and unresolved. Jessica could see her parents struggling to find the right words. They weren't just facing financial issues. They were battling their fears of being vulnerable and admitting defeat. I just don't want this to tear us apart, her dad finally said, voice taut with emotion. Jessica took a breath, letting the air seep through her tension. We need to lay everything on the table, no more secrets. If we're going to work through this as a family, we have to be honest. Okay, her mother said quietly, nodding. You're right, it's time to stop pretending. Slowly, conversations began to unfurl. They skimmed over the surface of financial woes, crafting a plan to address the bills that loomed like shadows. Jessica's anger began to quiet as she realized this was the first step they needed. But the deeper truths? Those lingered in the air, unmentioned. Jessica would need to dig deeper. As the discussion wore on, Jessica felt drained yet determined. What about the cruise? She asked, her voice softer now. You can't just sweep that under the rug. What were you thinking? Her parents exchanged another heavy glance. It was supposed to be a way of reconnecting, a break from everything, her mother admitted, her voice cracking. But now, it's just another burden. And it's not just about money, Jessica added, a new realization dawning. It's about trust. And that might be harder to mend. Everyone sat in quiet contemplation, thoughts churning as the weight of honesty began to settle. Jessica's stomach churned with uncertainty, an uncomfortable tightness forming. But she felt hopeful. Can we really build back what we lost? She finally asked, glancing between her parents. Her dad nodded slowly, as if weighing the possibility. Yes, but only if we face everything together. No more hiding. As night descended, the family shared tentative smiles, new plans forming among whispered conversations and hopeful glances. Each word exchanged was a brick in the foundation they would build upon, but an ache still lingered in Jessica's heart. And what about the deeper issues, the things you still haven't told me? The air stilled, thick with questions unanswered, shadows growing long once more. Jessica needed to know what other secrets lay hidden beneath the surface. And could her family truly survive the storms on the horizon? The following days unfolded like the pages of a long-awaited book, full of uncharted territories and raw emotions. Time seemed to slow in those moments within the walls of their home. Jessica felt it in the pulse of her heartbeat, the weight they all carried pressing down but also propelling them forward. Her parents began taking initiative, uncovering hidden truths with the caution of people rediscovering an old path in the fog. Every evening, they sat together at the dining room table, navigating the depths of their finances with trembling fingers and hopeful hearts. The lasagna from Ms. Edwards became more than just comfort food, it turned into a reminder of community support and the willingness to lean on one another. Jessica realized that connections extended far beyond blood, they were also forged in kindness and understanding. "Let us start fresh," her father said one evening, his voice steady as he laid out a plan. "We've got a lot of work to do, but we can make it together." As he spoke, Jessica could see a flicker of the man he used to be, strong and unwavering even amidst struggle. It filled her with warmth, transforming the remnants of anger she had felt into a current of gratitude. Jessica glanced at her mother, whose eyes were filled with a mix of fear and determination. "You two are right." Her mother's voice gained strength. "We'll find a way to pay those bills down. I'll take on extra hours at work. Together, we will press forward." It was in that moment of unification that Jessica felt the shift, the threads of their lives tangling together again, rethreaded with a promise of transparency. As the weeks progressed, the family not only grappled with their current struggles, but they also began opening up about the emotional burdens that had long been stacked high in silence. Secrets spilled like ink on paper, messy but cathartic. Together, they navigated their fears, the shared pain illuminating the corners of their hearts once shadowed by expectations. Jessica found herself at the center of their healing. With each small victory paying off a bill, cutting down on unnecessary expenses, she felt their bond strengthen. "We're really doing this," she beamed during one dinner, the atmosphere buzzing with camaraderie. Yet, even amid the lightning mood, the truth of the cruise loomed over them. The unwritten chapter that needed closure pressed heavily on Jessica's mind. "We have to address the cruise, Mom," she finally said, her voice firm but loving. "What we lost doesn't just heal on its own." Her parents exchanged glances, and Jessica could almost hear the gears turning in their minds. Her father finally nodded. "You're right, Jess. We ran away from our problems instead of facing them together." "I was trying to find myself again," her mother added, her voice trembling. "But in the process, I lost track of what this family means. I want to make it right." Tears brimmed in Jessica's eyes as she realized that their willingness to confront this mistake was not just about the vacation, it was about acknowledging their collective pain, creating space for understanding and forgiveness. "We can't change the past, but we can choose who we want to be going forward," Jessica said, her heart full. The room felt charged with hope, and for the first time since the postcard betrayal, Jessica believed in the potential of a new beginning. Together, they began to draft a plan for a family retreat, one that was filled not with escapism but with healing. "We can start by sharing our dreams, not just our burdens," Jessica suggested, and her voice rang out like a healing bell, vibrant and clear. Her parents nodded, willing to redefine what family meant for them. As they slowly rebuilt their trust, they also wanted to take the opportunity to reconnect not just as a parent and daughter, but as individuals walking the same journey, side by side. In the days that followed, they learned to communicate openly, celebrating the small victories and confronting the challenges ahead, with laughter resurfacing in places once consumed by tension. One sunny afternoon, the three of them picked up their feet and walked to the nearby park. Surrounded by vibrant flowers and giggling children, Jessica glanced at her parents, their faces relaxed and carefree, and felt a wave of love wash all over her. "The past is a lesson," she said, as the breeze lifted around them. "And the future, it's ours to create." As they wandered through the park, hearts and spirits intertwined, they embraced the transformative journey that lay ahead, now rooted in understanding, love, and the truth that brought them back to their feet. And as night fell and they returned home, the stars glittered fiercely above them, reminding Jessica of how beautifully complicated life was, how even the darkest moments could birth joy if they faced it all together. As Jessica lay in bed that night, a soft smile played on her lips. Everything they had faced was just another step in showing how family is forged in fire, and from those flames, they had risen renewed, ready for whatever awaited them next. You need to subscribe now to our channel to not miss the next exclusive stories that will inspire you. This is the moment to show your support. Leave a like now to feed the algorithm and keep the positivity flowing. Comment below your thoughts and feelings about this heartfelt journey to healing. And don't wait not even one more second to share this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this transformation. Let us spread the love and encouragement.